A spouses forum was established as a need to support the families of the military family and to support, especially to support our husbands and to serve the military community in various ways.
The seed of the formation of the Spouses Forum was planted in August 2005 when the Army ladies hosted in August, it's celebration of Women's Month. So they were celebrating Women's Month and I was invited to be welcomed as the spouse of the new SANDF chief.
Mrs. Ngwenya came in and we welcomed her when my husband was still serving as a chief of the army. She found us as a group of army ladies. We had our own thing, like the previous dispensation ladies in different arms of service. They had their own thing.
Within the army ladies, there were a lot of ladies who came from the so-called non-statutory forces, yes. So when I was appointed chief spouse, it was like, Mangwenya, what are you going to do for the spouses? So I took the challenge from the army ladies to say, let's put something different from what is happening currently. That meeting was in August. So in November, we then organized a workshop of all the spouses of generals within the SANDF.
And in this particular meeting, the main purpose was to form portfolios and identify the various opportunities that we would be able to be felt as spouses. I remember during that meeting they were asking, people were volunteering, for the different portfolios that were there. And I remember I put up my hand and I said, well, I will volunteer as a secretary, I knew nothing. I didn't even know how to drive. There I was now, now I'm volunteering and, everything seems to be, I said, well, I'll just take it as it comes.
So the decision was, we are forming a forum because we are just ladies. It's not an organization. It's not a, it's a get together of women whose husbands play a leading role within the defense force, and we saw our role as positively contributing, to their functions by supporting them, and also realizing that we are going to be ambassadors in some way. So we needed to give one another support, build one another's confidence, and we also wanted to support members of families of those who are in the defense force.
Yeah, the thing that always struck me is the role that the Spouses Forum plays within the National Defence Force. They really are the mothers of the soldiers, and it was incredible to see them engaging with the soldiers on a completely different level. Obviously the sergeant majors and the military staff are there to maintain the disciplines, etc., but the Spouses Forum is really doing the motivation. They're doing the caring, the loving, inquiring about families, just looking at the soldier as part of a family unit.
And also to develop ourselves, as I say that, as ambassadors, to be able to confidently stand in any forum and say something about the Defence Force.
She encouraged us to meet. We formulated a constitution to guide us. which was approved by the then chief of the SANDF, General Ngwenya, and those were the guidelines on which we started the Spouses Forum.
One of the challenges that at the time that we faced was that, one, we were not known. Two, we were to be under the umbrella of the SANDF because we were just spouses. And we needed now to form ourselves in such a way that we would make an impact into the defense community.
One of the challenge was that, we used to meet as the forum every time on our own, and do all these nice things for ourselves. And people felt that, we are not making any meaningful impact.
We thought there would be a club that would have fun and, get together all the time. But then sense prevailed and we said, okay, we could do projects, we could do this and this. But then when you sit down and thinking, like always it was produce something, as you know what women do, they always want to produce or do something to say. You can't just sit, be merry, and drink and be merry. Let's do something which, a legacy that will leave that, this was done by the Spouses Forum. The Spouses Forum was here.
So the decision was two meetings will be within the defense venues or whatever, and 2 meetings must be outreach project. So that's how we would go to the crash. That's how we would go to. We once sponsored a group of youth from Tembisa. We once sponsored, so we would go and host the meetings there rather than in nice, comfortable venues. We also went to Mabupane. There were 2 orphanages that had wrote to us also requesting games and whatever for the kids that were in those orphanages. So we went out and held meetings and interacted with those children. So that's how we were able to deal with the challenge.
That we have is the Goodwill Parcel Project, which is a hamper for the deployed soldiers' families. The hamper project came out after the Goodwill project that the SANDF Sergeant Majors project started. And then we felt that the Sergeant Majors project was about deployed soldiers. Every year they were taking presents to the deployed soldiers. And then when we came on board, we felt that, okay, the deployed soldiers get presents at Christmas, but they leave families back at home. And then we felt that let's do something also to give cheer to the people who are left at home.
In mid-2007, a delegation of the Spouses Forum under the leadership of Mrs. Ngwenya and Mrs. Shoke approached the Massmart executive. They met with Brian Laroni, our corporate affairs director, and with Grant Patterson, the then CEO of Massmart. And the request from them was for a large retail group like Massmart to be able to facilitate a food parcel which would go to the families of deployed soldiers. It It was fantastic. I was very fortunate to have a leadership role in that project. Massmart essentially coordinated the project, so we weren't the only sponsor, although we did contribute into the food parcel. We started the project in 2007 with 5 suppliers. 5 suppliers and 6 products, so it was certainly a very small hamper by today's standards, but because the request only came in the July for product to be ready by the December, obviously we were a little bit under pressure, and so the first 5 suppliers Mrs. Ngwenya kindly named the Big 5, and I'm very pleased to say that they're still on the project, 8, nearly 9 years on, and then over the years we obviously attracted other suppliers. I think what's always been incredible is the level of support that the private sector of South Africa, the food suppliers of South Africa, have given this. It wasn't small scale. You know, we were packing hampers for 5,500 families. So you really are touching a lot of people. Our colleagues on the gifts side of the project were packing gifts for 5,500 soldiers. And so it really it resonated with me. I mean, you know, when a lot of people in the business said to me, "Gee, you really committed to this project," and I was, because I think everybody was. I think everybody that is a part of the Goodwill Parcel project is hugely committed, right up to the Chief of the National Defence Force. But also it's a great feel-good project. You know, you leave with a sense that we've actually changed people's lives, and that was important.
We feel the pain that maybe the mother or the father is deployed and cannot be with them at Christmas time. So that would bring cheer to them. This has gone on for 8 years, more than 8 years now, as we celebrate our 10 years. There are ladies in Tabatswane who came to us to say, would like help. We've heard about you, would like help, because we sit at home, there's nothing we're doing.
Tabatswane is divided into 2, Ward 61 and Ward 66. So the Ward 61 people, ladies, met in a meeting, and then they decided, we see there is a Sandf Spouses Forum, but to us as the junior military spouses, we are not having something that is organization for ourselves. Let's start and form an organization for ourselves so that we can say we are these women and go to the Sandf spouses and tell them, we are these women, we want also assistance.
So we advise them to form a group and have a constitution so that they can be able to run their group. And then we divided them into groups. There were those who wanted to do sewing. There were those who wanted to do agriculture. Others wanted to do catering. Others wanted to do plumbing. There was just a variety of women. Some of them were more daring, wanting to be electricians, wanting to dare into businesses that were always being done by men. But then we sat down with them and we divided them in groups. Unfortunately, the one that has taken off and it's doing well is the sewing project.
We were doing sewing before in the community hall, that side. We were just women who wanted to do sewing, and then we grouped ourselves and then we're doing sewing without being an organization. Then we're sewing that side, and then when we went now to Omashoke to ask for this assistance, and then now they said, starting with the others, yes, they are, at least they can put a garment together, but others were just helping, also need to gain that experience. they said they can now send us to works training to do the basic training, all of us.
2013, they were at the CAT for 6 months. Then they graduated, handing over the certificate.
We did a theory of sewing. It's on that theory of the sewing we noticed good now. Not everybody is able to take a course serious, like continue with the course, because there were people who are not, who haven't done a basic education now. That means now there is a need of a basic education, like the women will be taught e-communication, and also in sewing, as much as we can see, maths is not needed in every skill, but when you are doing skills training, you need mathematics, because when you're cutting the material, you must know the measurements.
There's also an ABET for those who don't know how to read and write, because even if you want to sew, you have to know how to cut the pattern, how to put things together. And then we felt that there should be a project to uplift those who cannot do that.
There is a need in the junior spouses that they can get, if they can get the skills training, if they can get assistance somewhere, somehow, so that at least they can do something, even if they can get jobs in the military.
And of course, at one point, we moved at the point of asking, you people wear uniform. Is it possible that our spouses who are now currently qualifying as seamstresses to at least do the shirts or the pants or something? That's still an issue of policymakers to deal with. But I think opportunities are endless for our spouses to be gainfully employed within this system itself.
We also venture in the bases where there are children who need to be taken care of. So we adopted one creche in the base, which now is run by the Spouses Forum.
I've took the creche over in 2004, and we started with one child and with 3 teachers. With time, the kids was escalated up to 15 to 17 kids. It was still a very small place because there was not enough space for all the kids.
It was just a small house a small place when it started, but then we went to Transnet and asked for containers to have additional classes for the children there.
Transnet Foundation then contact me, and then they tell me to go and visit the actual area where this facility needs to be erected, where I then met with Mrs. Shorke, as well as I think the principal of that kiddies college, Mrs. Elena Langenhoven, and I then asked them what they need, and from there on we actually developed what their requirements were with regards to the creche. Yeah, the financial implication, it's around about 400,000 Rand, which it cost us to sort of provide that. That includes the transport cost. We do a proper job because we start with foundations. We do have proper drawings, which has been approved by the South African National Defence Force. And then we erect the facility on those foundations. We remove the floors of the containers, because normally that is made from wood, and they don't last that many years. So we remove the floors, and then we put a concrete floor in there with tiles, and even the roof, it's proper roof trusses which we put on there with corrugated roof sheeting and gutters and downpipes. So after we've actually erected it, it's like a proper building that will last for many years.
And that is a project which has been a success for me and the Spouses Forum at the present moment, because I was praying that it does succeed, because I love children.
Kosuka lakho sekusukela khona yizwa isipho vuka usithathe ukhona munye Muza senjalo wasuka lokho uhamba munye Muza nawo vuka usithathe ukhona munye Muza senjalo wasuka lokho uhamba munye Muza nawe izwa isigqi sekusuka lokho izwa isigqi sekusuka lokho wasuka lokho sekusuka lokho
We want to say thank you very much to Malchoki for the role that she played in the additional classes with Transnet. She identified a problem and she set things in motion. And for Transnet, for their positive reaction against the request and building the classes in a very fast time. We and all the children want to say thank you very much. We appreciate all your caring and your hard work for the kids.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I counted fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I let it go away. Why do you let it go? Because it bit my finger so. Which finger did it bite? This little one on my right.
Other projects are in the pipeline, like we are looking to have a place for in one meal, to have a place where we take care of relatives that come from outside the province or outside the country to bring their sick people at the hospital. Because you find that sometimes the people come from various provinces and they've got nowhere to stay. So we're trying to establish a place where those people can be nearer to the hospital, to be nearer to their sick person. It's a project that the Sandf is doing.
In one military hospital, we have a ward of children where we normally every year try to assist in whatever way. And we also support the projects of the social workers. For instance, we once had a major coming to present the projects to us, and then whatever they need, if we have something, we try to support them by all means. If we don't have anything, then we go out to the business world to look for donations and to look for funds.
At the Air Force level, we decided to go completely grassroots. Engaged with the bases around the country to say we need to set up a forum that will support families. So we have capacitated forums in Hoedspruit, in Makado, Langebaan, in Easterplaat. Gauteng has been a bit of a challenge for whatever strange reason. I'm not sure why. I think we just need to go back to the drawing board a bit. But we are much stronger outside Gauteng.
In Saldanha, we have an orphanage that we adopted. Actually, it's a afternoon home care whereby children after school they go to that the building and they receive food there. And then one of the officers in Saldanha, of which is a commander of the base in Saldanha, told me about that orphanage. So I got interested, and then later that year, I think around December, it was during the pass-out parade of the MSGs. So he decided to gather some gifts, some shoebox gifts, of which all the officers in Saldanha in that base adopted one child, and then buy them some gifts, and then put in that shoebox, and then they wrap it. Actually, it was nice and touching for the ladies who works over that orphanage, because they didn't really expect that kind of thing, and then we get to meet the children, of which I saw that they really, really need help.
We're not always successful because of maybe funds or other restrictions that come up with being in the defense force. You can't do this. We've got to get permission, and then it falls off our program structures. And then we've got to start again and think of other things to do in the following year.
10 years is really a great celebration. It's a memorable anniversary. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with them, to have their support and their level of involvement that they've given. Just to please keep doing the work that they are doing. The caring and looking after the social needs of the soldier is so important, and I really just wish them everything of the best in their endeavors going forward, but also recognizing the fact that they've been doing it successfully for 10 years already.
We're very proud to be associated with the South African National Defence Force Spouses Forum. I think it was a privilege to, especially me as well as Transnet, to be able to work with them.
I think the time is now for everyone to fold their sleeves and get to work, because it's not a one-man's show. It really needs a lot of many people's involvement. And by being a team, that's the only way that we can win.
Pambili. I think, as I say, the leadership has done a phenomenal job. That we'll be celebrating 10 years of amazing goodwill activity is testimony to what we can do as a collective. And I think we need to make members understand that they must encourage their spouses to become part of this. It is here to serve all of us, to make things a little bit easier.
We have a lot of generals' wives, although the Navy we are quite few. To see actually all the wives of the generals and admirals to get together and to build a spouses forum, to make our word heard everywhere within the country and even overseas. You know, if we can do charity work, good charity work, and so that the government can be aware that the Spouses Forum is there, is doing something for the community.
I think I would encourage them to reach out to the lower rank spouses, because I feel they should also be included. There's a lot for them to learn from us. We may be generals' wives, but I do feel that we have a lot to learn from each other.
This Spouses Forum has stood the test of time. So it means we are strong enough and we got a good foundation to go on with the project, understanding each other and willing to work together, doing projects and advising each other on the path to follow for it to succeed.
The chiefs of defense forces come and go, but the forum should remain, and by doing all the good things that we are doing, I'm sure everybody will want to be part of the good story and, you know, continue with the story forever. The forum will never die.
it's all in our hands as spouses forum to make it happen and to make it grow strong.
Hala, musadi wa kona kona.